Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome back to Tour de France 2021. This is the races series that we're doing, and we are now on episode number 4. We're at the 3 hours of Provence, and in this race, it's 3 stages, and we are in the middle of stage 2. Last episode left off not far from where we're at on the road now. We just had a pretty lengthy descent. There are 3 climbs left of about 7 on the day, and we are now inside 50 kilometers to go on the stage itself. Peloton, a minute 8 behind. Tamino, who was in the break with us, has actually gone straight through the peloton and out the back. And as we approach 1K to the summit on this one, Tussville not in contention for the KOM, but thinking about the stage, thinking about the kilometers off the front. We're just going to try to hang on to this group and make sure that we don't get dropped by them. You can see that they're pushing pretty hard at the moment. We're going to take the inside track here, which actually puts us in a decent position towards the line, and just get that little acceleration to make sure we don't get dropped. We've got another Category 3 climb coming shortly, and then a nice long descent towards the finish. We have both gels, and both gels are at max, and let's just kind of get on the wheel and ride from there. Our focus for this race, if you did not see the last episode, our focus is to win the combativity prize, meaning the red number, as in the most kilometers off the front is how this game determines that. It often does that in real life, but not always. Sometimes somebody does something a little more interesting, a little more exciting, and therefore wins the prize, but in the game, it's purely down to kilometers. So we go into aero tuck here. 77, 78, 79, wow, 79 kilometers an hour. That is fast. Alright, so we got a good amount of recovery in on that one, and I like where we're at as we go into this climb. Same idea, same philosophy, not worried about the points, just worried about staying in the group, keeping those kilometers, and we're seeing a huge split behind. The field is blowing up on the descent, it looks like, or is it over the top? Depends on how big the gap is and how quick you go through. It's a minute 20 to go do, and his group of just 18 riders, the main peloton of 66, is over 20 seconds behind them. And we are now on the base of the next climb, the Côte de Gourdon, 2.5 kilometers at 5.5%. Hard to keep up. I don't want to overdo. Come up on the 1K banner. So we expect them to push. This is where I would like to do my version of a push, which is not to attack, but to just ride harder. And you can see that it set myself up. They're now full on attacking. And now I'm able to go much, much later. I could probably even take this climb if I wanted at this point. Quite. They're still going full gas. Fourth over the top, but very much still right there. Okay, there you go. Nice long descent as we prepare for that next climb, and we should see a lot of recovery on the way. And I certainly did not use as much energy, potentially anyway, as the 3 around me. Frank Hoy, Livens. Now a minute 13 to the chase group, with just double climb to go other than this descent, and we should see the gap pretty much hold on the descent. Oof. Game doing what it does best and giving me heartburn as we were following a rider and suddenly we outpaced them on the descent. And that group's all back together behind us. 69 riders left in contention. follow the slipstream. "52 seconds, so we've only lost a handful of seconds on the chase group. "46 seconds the gap. It's got a little wonky through there, but we're still okay. And still arrow tuck, and see just how much energy I have now. And still both gels before we begin the final climb. Just a tap of the brakes, but bad timing on that one. Oh, they really accelerated well. I lose contact briefly. They're really pushing. I mean, I'm going full gas and losing wheel. Still descending. Still recovering. Still saving a little something for what's at the end. But I'm not getting credit for kilometers off the front right now. But Tussfeld isn't in great shape for that. The main thing was about not allowing any of the other riders from stage 1 into the break, because we need Chris Hamilton for stage 3. That's the main focus. So at this point we're just thinking about the stage. Almost back into the peloton at this point. It's probably better to allow myself to be caught. Let's go ahead and start conserving arrow tuck. Ride lightly. Arrow tuck. It's just momentary. Trying to watch the road and the percentage at the bottom of the screen, the gradient. And we've been caught. Alright, now we have the nice front position here, so that's good. And we have a good amount of energy. Gonna be in better shape than some riders, anyway. And they're in full chase mode.
The riders are at the
At least these few guys at the front.
With the ascent of the Col sur Loup, a short climb but very steep, since the
5K.
percentage is 10%.
It's short, it's very steep, but it's not it. The descent is minor, and then you go right into the next climb. And towards the finish. Finish is flat. Under 12K to go on the stage itself. 43 seconds to the final 3 riders off the front.
The final climb has just begun. The strongest riders will surely go on the attack in order to try to finish around.
Oh, there's the moment. Right now it's minor. And ease off, and we caught a glimpse of the break there. Pace, our tempo, 10%.
He's trying to get out of the peloton. Watch out.
Recover a little. 1K to go. I'm seeing the first push. Go do Bennett. Kamna. Guys, Frank going sideways now. Frank kind of blocks me off, kills my momentum. We're able to recover as Uran goes by. Levin's still off the front. contact with these guys. This is the main group. Bennett, go do Uran, and we're just off with Grosshartner now.
He's moving onto the attack.
And final gel. Group splitting. Livens has been caught. He's there on that left-hand side. Gel's used up. 10%. Livens, Grosshartner. And we're just easing our way back through. Bennett's done. He went too hard. Livens has nothing left. 3 riders ahead is all. We sit in 4th position on the road. I'll save a little bit more here for the end. We don't have that much left. Here's Quintana. He's caught up. Let's just follow him for now. And we cannot stay at this pace. There's Tom Pidcock. He's come up as well. But it's a group of 4 chasing a group of 3 at the top of the road. And we're almost nearly over the top. So even though we don't have much left, as it goes to come back together here today, we're in the top grouping. It's 6 riders, but about to collapse. So it's time to let that go and just hang on and ride our tempo and ride for 6th.
Another 3 kilometers and it's the finish.
You gotta just control tempo. There's nothing left. Stamina bar is totally empty. Red bar is the last thing before we blow up and then really, really slow down. Malama, Chavez. Remember, we've been in the break all day, so we just do not have gotta just ride our tempo. Try to get whatever aero advantage we can. Final kilometer. And see, I just have an ounce of energy left. Go to Nealon's, Katana, Kamna, Uran. Bike throw. Really, really good stage result there. Really impressed. I mean, that was an incredible finish. Easily top 10, just outside of top 5 from the break all day, and we conserved enough. Meanwhile, Hamilton's still out on course, group 11, so I think he's recovering a lot of energy today, and then hopefully come tomorrow we'll have a little bit of recovery, because we're going to ride with Hamilton again, looking for that combativity stage. And there you have it, 8th place on the stage for Tusveld, just 49 seconds down. But it's not going to put him in a fantastic place because he did not do well on stage 1. However, I think timing-wise, it shouldn't be a factor. At this point, Tusveld should be sitting about 8th place in GC, actually. So for that, he's in good shape. Hamilton lost 9 minutes and rode easy, so he'll be an easy pick tomorrow to put in the break. I just hope that he'll have some amount of recovery and not overly spent on energy today. Hull leads the way with 122 kilometers in the combativity classification, which is going to put him well off the pace of Hamilton. See, Gaudu leads, Nealons, Quintana, Kamna, and Tusveld is 8th place, 59 seconds behind. So he is in contention for a good GC finish, but that's not who we're going to ride with tomorrow on the final stage, the mountain stage. But we might pick up with him late on. You can see Hamilton still 3rd place, but if Valet and De Winter do not go in the break and Hamilton does, it's already going to be a victory, because even at 12 kilometers, he will take over the lead. Now, the only thing to worry about then is with the others. Hull, Livens, Frank, Tamino only credit for 28 kilometers. He was not front for long. Godou's not going to be in the break, so none of those guys to worry about. Stage 3 is shorter than what stage 1 was. So Hamilton has that advantage. And as long as he gets in the break in a similar fashion as one of those guys, or if none of those others in the top 6, if none of them join the break, then Hamilton's going to win the classification. If they do, then we've got a battle on our hands. De Winter and Valet are the ones to worry about. We need to get out front ahead of them, stay out front longer than them. That includes going over the top climbs, so a few kilometers here and there. Hamilton has to kind of bury himself to stay out front longer than those guys. So hopefully that's not the case. I might have to use up a Donovan, Haga, Denise, Cantor to chase down a group and then switch back to Hamilton, then allow Hamilton to get in the group if, in particular, Valet and De Winter try to push into the group. So a lot of tactics at play to try to win that combativity classification. Meanwhile, Tussveld, we just hope that he can hang on to a good GC position, and in the final Ks, we'll try to ride with that. But stage 3 with a mountaintop double climb is going to come down to better climbers, and Tussveld isn't bad, but he's definitely not as good as quite a few guys in the field. And as we go to begin the final stage, you can see Tussveld actually recovered fairly well, considering he's got good recovery of an A. But Hamilton with just a C for recovery, and this was what I was slightly worried about when selecting him to be the guy. He is in better shape than he was for stage 2, but he's still not recovered terribly well, despite putting in minimal effort in stage 2 and losing 9 minutes. But as we go into stage 3, he's fairly tired. So it's not going to be the easy task, and that's why we're not going to necessarily crush those guys around us if our contenders are there. If none of them are there and he's alone in that group, then with new breakaway riders, then it's in the bag, because the stage is only a few kilometers, 149, longer than what Hamilton has right now. We have 145k total off the front, so we only need 4 more to surpass what this stage will even have to offer. So he doesn't have to be in the break the whole time, but it's going to come down to who else is in that breakaway.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today's stage should be full of suspense. The 2 climbs placed just before the finish will enable the fittest riders to try their luck on a solo win. But then you're going to have to hold out to the finish, located 8 kilometers after the start.
All right, this is going to be a little bit dangerous. We've got a road that's not very wide, and we are well back in the peloton right now. We were roughly halfway point through the peloton. Gap opens up a little bit, though. We follow Danny Martinez there momentarily and move our way forward. That's good. We've already got 3 or 4 riders up the road. Harada is not an issue. Pache is not an issue, so that's good. Can we get off the front right now? Lagak is kind of pushing. We need to keep going. I don't know who the other 3 riders are, or 2 riders are in this group. We're going to gain contact quickly. Harada, Fellini, KOM leader, Livens is here. So we got to watch out for Livens. Pache, attack. And we don't have any red bar left. 30 seconds ahead. We've got to try to stay with this group. I'm not worried about KOM in the slightest. Livens certainly is, and that's going to give him extra kilometers. We have an advantage over Livens in that first stage was much longer than the second stage. But we can't afford to be dropped by this group. Minute 20 over the peloton. Provence picks up 2 points. But we're still in the group, so we did not get dropped. And we're a minute 46 away. Let's go ahead and speed things up. As I continue to speed things along, right now up on the screen is showing some race info about the combativity classification. And you can see that Pache, Hirata, Fellini have no kilometers. This is their first time in the break. So we've got them covered. No problem. Livens is the one we got to watch out for. He is 5th in the classification after being in the break on stage 2. He's obviously focused on the King of the Mountains as he is wearing that jersey here today. He did the best there yesterday. He has 112 kilometers. We have 145 entering the stage. So that is a 33 kilometer advantage. Now, you can assume that Livens has picked up about 3K so far on us as he got off the front a bit sooner than we did. It could even be about 5K. So let's just assume that it's 5. So if he has gone 5 kilometers clear, so 117, 145, we are now down to an advantage of about 27. So let's round down even further, 25 kilometers, okay? So 25 kilometer advantage over Livens. If we can get within the last 25K of this stage, still in the group, then we're safe, we're secure, no worries. We have 70K to go. We want to be in the group within the last 25K. That's the main thing. But anytime, like here, on a climb, if somebody attacks, like say Livens, who's going for KOM, if he gets off the front of us, he's going to pick up a few kilometers. So we got to keep that in check. Right now, this is a 2.8 kilometer climb, 6.7%. Let's go ahead and bring it down to the level. We're going through the steepest sector of it right now. We'll just follow behind. I think Livens is probably the one I just need to follow. Probably the smart thing to do. He's the one I gotta watch out for. Coming up on 1K to go. Thing is not about him attacking over the top and getting a few hundred meters without us. It's the how long does it take us to catch back up after we go over the top. 800 meters, Livens. You can see he's starting to accelerate. He's pushing. Up on the line. And we're going to back off. Going to go out just that little bit. Livens again grabs the points. But we did not get dropped. So we are still in the group. We've got a feed zone coming up. Let's go ahead and manage things through here for now. And use up our gel, get full recovery. Feed zone coming, and we'll be in good shape. You can see how Hamilton's a bit tired.
At the front of the race,
It's only the midpoint of the stage, and we already have a fair amount of energy that has been lost. So hanging on for that final 25K is certainly not a given. But how far from the finish is that 25K? Because that's going to be a lot of climbing, and that's going to be the key. Livens obviously is going to be going for max points. 62K to go overall, and we have not been dropped at all, so we still hold that 25 or even 27, 28K advantage over Livens. But again, I'll feel safe at 25. We used up a little energy on that hill, but very little. We're already recovering it, and here is the second part of the feed zone, and we've recovered our gels. So really good to see that. And now we continue on with our goal. Not thinking about the stage, not thinking about the King of the Mountains or the sprint points, just beating Livens head to head. Only category 4, it's only 1 point, it's not a big deal. He couldn't get too far away here, and he shouldn't be pushing too much. Now inside 53 kilometers. Livens, there you go. There's the acceleration. And that's it for the KOM until you get to those final 2 climbs. So, at this point you would predict that Livens is going to back off, ease off. We've got a ways to that next sprint point, and we're still in good shape. It's going to close us down at least another 15K or so. All right, now 38K to go. So we're just 13 kilometers away from our happy zone of having the combativity jersey in our hands at the end of the race, or the classification at least. A couple riders have been dropped overall. We have a minute 30 advantage over the peloton. Nobody is attacking. Nope, there comes the attack. Gotta respond.
Breakaway is being wheeled in. It will be difficult to withstand the return to the yellow jersey.
Okay, I lost ground for about 200 meters there. But we rounded down to 25 anyway for safety, security. So I think we're still just fine on that estimate. We regain contact almost immediately. Fourth over the line. Peloton is a minute 40 behind, minute 30 behind now, as the sprinters attacked pretty hard. We've got another short descent coming, and then we begin the climb. And we should be at about 25K when that starts. 3.5%, almost territory to Aero Tuck, but we're not far from being maxed out anyway, so we want to just allow that to happen naturally. There you go. I think we just maxed our stamina for now. Again, entering with more fatigue than any of these guys. They are probably in better shape than I am at this point, I would imagine. So we're not thinking about the stage. Minute 14 to the peloton, we're really not thinking about the stage. This is all about beating Livens. And at 28.4K as we go to begin the climb, it's very, very close. Immediately an attack right at the beginning. And it's at 28K out, so we are not yet secure. I'm still in the group. Still in the group. Now I'm not in the group. Now I'm in the group again. Okay, so we lost 50 meters. Okay. Chow up. Again, this is about being in the group right now. So we will go max energy and get that red bar back as well.
Here we go. The front of the race is on the
off a little bit tempo, but we want to try to maybe hold the front. If we set a nice consistent tempo for the next 1.5K. There we go, red bar done. If we set a steady enough tempo, this should hold everybody else back. Convince them not to attack. Keep the group in check. 26K. 1K from my window, but probably already there. 9%. Peloton at a minute 20. A little more. 25 kilometers to go, and here comes Fellini. Pache. It's Livens that I need to stay with. I think we're safe in there, but going through that flat section. I love save hitting right as I entered the corner. Made the controller react a little bit later. We're doing contact here. Only a few seconds. The longer we're with them, the better. There we go. In contact. On Livens' wheel. He's the only one to watch out for. Now, he didn't gain anything there for the first part because he was split off as well, but then he regained contact. And we regained contact a little bit later. It's at 22K now, so let's just say they gained 3. Means maybe 24K, but he's still behind us on with 21K to go. We are seeing a small breakaway bridging the gap, so there was an attack in the peloton, but it's not contenders. low on energy. But we're just trying to stay in the group as long as we can manage, just to ensure that we've got the jersey. Then we will focus on Tussfeld, who's hopefully still in the group. And if you didn't see last episode, that's because Tussfeld sits 8th overall. Ride your tempo, buddy. They're gone. As soon as he gets reeled in by the peloton, we... Oh, I have no teammates in the peloton. Has he already been dropped? There's 39 riders in the peloton. There's 20 riders in the chase group. And there's no teammates. You'd see the DSM jersey. Tussfeld's been dropped. So I think we might just stick with Hamilton. There goes Hugh Carthy. Stay out of these guys as well. There's Simon Yates. Yates not attacking. Livens goes over the top again first, so he is still picking up some kilometers on us. Let's hope those guys get brought in quickly. In the peloton, 18 riders.
The riders will have...
Oh, they're still up the road quite a ways. That was somebody else. Livens has been dropped though, so Livens is no longer collecting kilometers. At 16 when we were dropped at around 20 or 21. So he gained 5 on us. It's still over 20k. No, now we're in the wind. And coming up on the crosswinds. Just allow ourselves to be dropped. Yeah, Tussfeld is nowhere to be seen. He is multiple minutes behind. No, he will not maintain a high GC position. No, we'll just finish things off with Hamilton. Alright, 5k to go to the top of the climb. You see somebody else already got dropped. That's Harada. And then Livens. So there's Livens. We've actually caught back up to him. He rode flat out to get that last climb. He'll win the KOM. He's definitely got enough points for that. 9.5% through here. Drops down a little bit on the switchback. Back up to 9.9. It was harder than what we're seeing right now, but it's average gradient over a period of time. We're back up now, 10, 11 momentarily. Make contact with these guys. Coming up on the crosswind section.
Therefore, the stage winner will score 5 points in the polka dot jersey classification.
Hoping to make contact with Harada here so I could get a little shelter from the wind. And obviously it'd be nice to be riding with Livens as well. We're just not quite fast enough to make contact with these guys. $15 riders left at the front. Godu still there, so yellow jersey. He is also the white jersey, so you can't count the extra jersey being there. Group is thinning out even further now, 11 riders, and we're into the crosswinds where sitting 23rd overall. So we are 23rd, 24th, 25th, and we have a 40-second advantage to what is now the peloton, the largest group, 27 riders chasing. Godu still at the front, now just 9 riders duking it out. Harada goes over the top first ahead of Adam Yates, Rigoberto Urán, and Nairo Quintana. 1, 2, 3, 4, so Godu just in the middle of the group, not doing the work himself. Meanwhile, I'm actually recovering even though these guys are following me. Unfortunate that they might have a little more left in the tank than what I'll have later on, as I'm the only one riding. Almost to the top. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. It's going to be worth a few seconds. See, now we're seeing a bit of a hack here by Livens. And Hirata benefiting from me doing the work up the climb.
5 kilometers for the lead riders.
Recovering quite quickly there. Not fighting hard. Here comes that big group because they both sat up and see what happens when I don't do the work. We immediately get pulled in by another group who then comes bursting by. Okay, Livens is the one I care about. Not that he's collecting kilometers at this point. I mean, we are definitely off the front. And there is no threat left. So 5.5K to go. A couple riders go clear. Pulled back Sanchez. Still 9 left. They have 1.5K to go to the finish. So those 9 riders will be sprinting it out. Coming up on the finish, they just went through. Godu took 8th on the stage though. That should be enough for him to keep the KOM, and I'm going to have to back off in order to finish. As we approach the finish line, I'm totally out of stamina. Cross the line with nothing left in the tank. Yeah, Tussfeld still out on road. He's losing 5 minutes. All right, so Adam Yates takes the stage ahead of Jesus Hirata. Jose Hirata was the one that was back there with us. Soler takes 3rd, Toynes 4th. They get a small gap over the chase group. Godu was in that small chase group, so he loses 6 seconds plus 10 seconds to Adam Yates. We'll see if that affects the GC. Haig was dropped just there at the end with 15 seconds. I finished 28th with Hamilton at nearly 4 minutes behind, but that's not what is important. That's not what we came for. It's the competitivity classification, which on the day, Pache 137, Fellini 135, Livens 130, Jose Hirata 126, Hamilton gets 123. So we were a little bit weaker compared to the other guys, but Livens only gains 7 kilometers on us. So we easily do what was necessary on that one. Let's go ahead and see what the final results are. Godu hangs on to the win, 6 seconds ahead of Quintana. Uran in 3rd, Malama, Yates, who had lost time previously, Hirata, Soler, Toynes, Kamna, Haig are your top 10. Tussfeld drops down to 38th overall. Donovan 66th. Hamilton finished at 108. KOM Livens does win that competition comfortably, well ahead on that one. Points goes to Caleb Ewan, young rider, Godu, Kamna, Sosa, and then the team classification, we weren't even here. Team DSM 19th, not good as a team. No wonder they were looking for the combativity classification, but there it is. Final standings. We win 269 kilometers at the front. Livens 243. That was who we were head-to-head with. The final total was actually 26 kilometers. So the few kilometers we lost there at the end, it looks like we were still at about 29, give or take. Finished at 26. But that's why we rounded conservatively, just to make sure. And remember, with Hamilton, we went a little bit deeper than we would have otherwise to keep those kilometers ticking by a little bit deeper, a little bit later, just to make sure that Livens didn't go on to, say, win the stage and collect another 20K or so, which would have made things very interesting. Relay de Winter drop out of those top couple of positions, and then Pache, Fellini from today's stage, Hirata, you can see where they kind of fit in. And that's why strategy was important on this one, as we were definitely not the strongest, but we made it work. Big problem for Hamilton is the low recovery. Good rider, but he came into today quite weak, quite fatigued, but we made it work. Also, I'm going to gain significant here. 3 stages, 20 XP for each stage because we're playing on the second highest difficulty level. And then we double XP by winning the combativity, so we pick up 120 XP. We only had 80 previously, so that is a massive gain, 120 XP, putting us at 200. That's going to unlock multiple races, so we have somewhere to go going forward, and not just having to try to race the Tour de France in a game that anytime you load it up seems to have issues. It's a fun game. I'm really, really enjoying playing this, and I've made a lot of improvement. 5 straight stages without a crash. I'm competitive now. Not that I'm winning anything necessarily, but I am competitive now, and that's a step in the right direction, and that's already playing on a harder difficulty level, just going off of knowing the sport and having played Pro Cycling Manager so much. If you have not figured this out by now, I am new to this game. I've never played it before, and now just completed a handful of stages, maybe 10 in all, through the various modes, trying it out. That's not much. That's not much experience to go off of. So I'm not making glaring mistakes, at least. I'm sure I'm far from perfect, nowhere near it. But in terms of at least the basics figured out, I've got that. And we've managed to do well here, tactically, and found some success with that. So, yeah, happy with that result. And I have yet to play with any top riders. We've always been playing with weaker teams, weaker objectives, and so far it's worked out well. I don't think I belong riding with the race favorites, Godou, Quintana, Yates. Those guys in my control probably would not do as well as they should. Maybe they would, and maybe one of these days we'll give that a shot. But for now, I'm pretty happy with the approach that I've taken to this game. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.